Welcome back to the eSIMstudios YouTube channel. I have a case review here for the Pixel 10 series. Now, this is the Spigen Ultra Hybrid Neo 1. So this is the clear case with the interior look of the Pixel. Now, it's for the Pixel 10 or Pixel 10 Pro. It'll fit both. They're basically identical phones. So no matter if you have the 10 or the 10 Pro, this will fit it. You can find it on Amazon, roughly $22, and they should have it here. They got plenty in stock, and I think they, at least where I'm at in South Texas, overnight delivery. Again, link will be down below in the description. Been doing a ton of OnePlus 15 content, and I thought, you know what, let's mix it up just a bit and add some Pixel content in there. So this is a nice case. Now, I was looking for the box, couldn't find it. So, been using it for a while, and I thought, you know what? I haven't even done a review on this. So, we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. Now, I'm going to throw it on there in just a second, but let me show you a little bit about this case. It has a MagSafe ring in there. We're going to test it with a wireless charger. I also have some MagSafe accessories. Now, they did not send this. We purchased this with our own money. Got some accessories. We're going to test how strong that metal ring is in there, just how tight of a grip is there if you're going to be using this with MagSafe accessories. Now, this is a clear case. As you can tell, it's a little flexible on the outside here, on the outside edges. Not only on the edges, but also on the top and bottom. So it's flexible around the border, and it has a hard polycarbonate PC back. As you can tell, the weak points are right here. So if you do try and bend it, it'll want to bend right here, but this back plate does not bend, and that's good. When it's rigid, when it's sturdy, that helps it stay in place when it makes impact with the ground. Again, if you flex glass, that is what makes it break along with the inertia when it makes impact with the ground. But that's why it's nice to have flexible and soft sides, right? Not only does it have softer sides, it also has air pockets. Now, they're not huge, but they do have one air pocket in each of the four corners. It does have, let's see, you can see the air pockets from the outside. I think you can see it here on the camera here. One thing I wanted to get into is this painted on? Is it stencil? Is it a sticker? And from the looks of it, I don't think you can peel this off. So it appears to be painted on there. Now, I have no idea if this is accurate as far as what the inside looks like. Of course, the ring is probably accurate with the charging coil, although I think the actual charging coil inside of here is actually bigger. I think it's almost the entire size of this, so that's probably not accurate. But let's give it another look. Is that a sticker? No, it appears to be painted on there, because that's one thing I was worrying about. Is this going to peel over time? And there is no sticker, so that's, I guess, good news, because the last thing you want is this to peel. One thing you do have to worry about with clear cases is it turning yellow over time. Now, the more expensive cases that are clear compared to the cheap cases that are clear, the cheap cases I think will turn yellow faster. The more expensive cases, I think they still turn yellow, but they do include and or manufacture this with better materials. So I think it takes longer to turn yellow, basically, but I think these still do. Now, that is due to the UV from the sun. So if you work from home, if you don't take this outside a whole lot, I think you should be fine. If you're using this all day, every day, and you're outside a lot, it might turn a shade yellow. But let's see here. So you got cutout for the microphone up top, cutout for the speakers and mic at the bottom, and a nice big power cutout. Let's see here. What does it say? Air cushion technology. Yeah, that's for the air pockets. Now, this is made specifically designed for Google by Spigen. They have a partnership, and they basically have like official cases made just for the Google Pixel. Now, do they work hand in hand with people at Google? Who knows, right? But they just basically formed a partnership with Google to basically label their items with the tag made by Google or made for Google or made specifically for Google. But it's just a partnership, right? I don't think they work hand in hand. Spigen logo right there on the left side. And then you have a cut out and or two holes for a lanyard. Now it's just on the right side. So if I'm right-handed, but I always use my phone with, not always, but most of the time use my phone with my left hand. That's going to suck if you do use a lanyard, because there's not one on this side. You're going to have to use a lanyard with an extra long cord for it to fit on your left wrist, but it should go nice and easy on your right wrist. And on the inside, before we stick the phone in there, is this a sticker? Trying to get my fingernail in there, and I don't think it is, which is good. You don't want it to be a sticker. You want it to be part of the design painted on there. I don't believe so. So I was going to see, is any of this, can you scratch off any of this? Because that would be a worry over time. Does this paint, if it is painted on there, come off with more use? And I think it's built, honestly, I think some of these are built inside the polycarbonate, because this seems like it's painted on the inside. But is this? No. It all seems rather sturdy, pretty well built. I don't see any reason or cause for this. Maybe I'm wrong, but over time, some of this might wear off, but seems like it's made pretty freaking well. Let's go ahead and throw the phone in there, and then we'll see what it looks like. We'll test out a charging cable and also some wireless accessories. Goes on there nice and easy. Looks freaking awesome with the blue Pixel. My goodness, does that look good. So this will look good with any color outside of black, right? And you can still see this design with the black Pixel, but it just looks better if you have the porcelain, which is the white, or the indigo blue, which is obviously the blue, or the mint green Pixel 10, lemongrass, I think it's called. Any one of those would look phenomenal with this case. So if you have a Pixel 10, you're going to like this case. It does seem like it provides decent protection. Now, one thing I want you to pay attention of, can you see these little tabs here at the bottom? See that tab here? You see that tab here? And then look at the top. Do you see this tab? There's a tab right up here, and then a tab right up here. Now, that's used for laying the phone down on its back. Does not wobble at all. No side-to-side movement. No up and down movement on the X and the Y axis. It is completely stable, and that's key. You may be out there, that stuff kind of bothers me. It's like a little pet peeve. Like when I have a case on, I put a phone, no matter what phone it is, especially with the S25 series, since the cameras are all to one side, it wobbles like crazy, and that stuff, it drives me insane. But that's why I never text and or try to operate the phone when it's laying on a surface, quite honestly. But this prevents that. If you hate the wobble just as much as I do, you're going to love this case. Now let's look at the camera protection, because there's not a lot of camera protection. This is one thing I was hoping to see more of. Now, Google does have a big camera hump here, right? No matter if you get the base 10 or the 10 Pro, you're gonna have a big camera hump. Now, that's kind of a staple of Pixel phones, and you can always tell when somebody's using a Pixel, and I love it. I think this is, quite honestly, the best looking smartphone design out of any smartphone, right? I love the OnePlus 15. I love that new look, but I just think Pixels look the best out of any mobile device. Just my personal opinion. Now, you do want to keep that protected, because this is metal. The camera housing around the sensors are metal, and if you use your phone without a case, or you use a case where there's not much camera protection, you can dent that fairly easily, right? And the last thing you want to do is crack the glass on the back of your Pixel. So let's check out the protection. Is there protection for the cameras? Let's zoom in and take a look. There's not much. So on the Pixel 10 Pro, we have a glass protector on the camera. On this one, the regular one, there is no glass protector. So the camera, the camera cutout on this case just barely comes up and over these sensors. As you can see there, just barely. I mean, it's literally a hair, maybe 0.1 millimeters. So you don't, that's probably the only downside to this, minus the fact you're probably going to have to clean it a lot. And that reminds me to test, is it a fingerprint magnet? I haven't washed my hands here in the last hour or two, so let's see here. Is it a fingerprint magnet? I don't think so. Well, that's good. I mean, I can't see any fingerprints at all. Huh. Well, that's a huge bonus, because that's one of the downsides. I'm not a fan of clear cases, but this one looks really cool, and that's one of the reasons. Fingerprints, smudges, oil, dirt, grime. I'm always cleaning my phone if I have a clear case on it, and it's just a pain in the ass, let's be honest. But this one, I don't see any fingerprints whatsoever. So no smudges, no oil. So, and look, that's what comes down to a quality case company like Spigen using quality materials, because with a lot of the cheap stuff, you're going to get tons of fingerprints. If using a clear case with a cheap clear case, you're going to get tons of smudges. You're going to see the oil smears. It's just a nasty piece of plastic. But when you get a quality case like Spigen, spend a few extra dollars, get a quality case, you get quality materials and a nice solid build. Now, minus the camera, and look, there is minor... there's just a very, very minor increase in the case over the sensor, the camera sensor. So if you do lay it down on its back, you're not going to scratch it up. But I'm just not quite confident in drop protection when it comes to that cutout. But if that's okay with you, that's okay with you. But let's look at it. Appears that they added extra material around each corners, but I really don't see much. I think it's just those tabs to help it from wobble, and that looks like it's about it. Let's look at the power button right here. Power, volume up, volume down, and they appear to be, oh yeah, they press easy and they click too. Maybe hold this up to the microphone so you can hear. Here's volume down. Now I'm going to do volume up. And then I'm going to do power. So you do get some clickiness, which is really nice. Just a beautiful looking case. Let's try the power cord, and then we'll try some accessories here. I have my trusty OnePlus power cord. It's fairly thick. It's actually a little bit thicker than the stock charging cable. Let me try the stock charging cable, and then we'll try one that's a little thicker just to see, because a lot of people have the stock or the factory charging cable that came with the phone, but a lot of people like myself have a ton of Type-C cables laying around the house. And let me try a more thicker one to see if this will block the power cable. Alright, so I have a treat for you. I have a super fat charging cable, and I have the stock charging cable. So let's try, I know the stock one will work, but we will try the super fat one here in a second. That works, no issues. Now it's not plugged in on the other side, but it is what it is. Let's try the super fat one. Let's see here. Again, really, really big head. Pause. Let's try to, let's see if that'll fit. Wow, it sure does. Snaps right in there. So if you have extra cables laying around the house, you're not going to have to worry about plugging it in to any specific cord or excluding any specific cords. It tends to work with most Type-C cables. I'm sure it will if that big fat one works. Now let's plug in this wireless charger and let's see about the wireless charging. So I'm going to hold it up to the camera like this, vertical, or I guess sideways. And then let's see. It snaps right into place. Right into place. As you can see, it's already charged. But let's try it again so you can get it better. Yep. So it's charging. It's just already charged. Now let's see how of a fair grip that is. Will it come off? Stays on there pretty good. That's a pretty good grip. Let's try a fiber-borne. That's one good thing about buying your own case, because when these case companies send me their cases to review, I can't use any other products, only their products in the videos. And when I buy my own case, I can use whatever I want. Fiber-borne accessory, Nilkin accessory. So let's try this little accessory here. Oh yeah, that is a super tight fit. That's not going anywhere. Wow, that's a really strong magnet. Cool. So there you go. So I think this would be suitable for a lot of people. Now, is it suitable for using outside? I guess so. It's perfect for indoor use. If you work from home, if you work in an office setting, I think it's okay for gym use. A lot of the gyms have padded floors, although be careful about those metal bars and the workout machines. But if you're outside a lot, one of two things you're going to have to worry about over time is this might turn yellow, and then you want to worry about the camera protection here. If you do, I might link one of my videos where I show putting the glass protector on here. But even if you have the glass protector on the rear sensors, on the rear camera, on the rear glass, you're still going to have to worry about this section right here. The blue part that's exposed, that is metal, and that will dent and or scratch. And again, that screen protector the camera protector only covers this glass right here. It's like a pill-shaped glass, not the entire cutout, just the sensor part. So this still is exposed, but minus the minimal protection on the camera sensors, that's the only downside to this case. So just be wary of that. Just know that your cameras are they're not totally exposed. Again, it comes up just slightly up and over the camera bar, but just be aware of that. And if you're outside a lot, be mindful and just know that if you drop it, hope it drops in a corner and not flat on its back. But other than that, looks freaking beautiful. So I'm going to put a link for this case down below in the description. If you got any comments, let me know. Hit me up in the comments. I check them every single day. Let me know what you think about this case. Maybe you have it. Maybe you've used it for longer than me. And say, yo, it's A-okay. Let me know. Hit me up. Peace.